Hey there, and welcome to my very first devlog. I'm Alan, a solo game developer, and I'm currently working on a city building game where you play as a ruthless dictator. This devlog will give you a look at the progress I've made so far. Before we dive in, let me introduce the game, Need More Water. It's not my first project. I've been making games for about 2 years now. I have dabbled in shooters, strategy games, and horror mostly, as experiments to learn and improve. But this one is different. I'm building Need More Water in Unity, and it's my most ambitious project yet. Inspired by the aesthetics and themes of the USSR, the game puts you in control of a powerful dictator trying to lead his country to greatness by any means necessary. Let's jump into the progress so far. I started with the building system naturally, since without it, this wouldn't be much of a city building game. I created a basic grid, built a structure that base, and added a simple UI for selecting and placing buildings. But I quickly realized something. Without unique mechanics or a distinct visual style, my game would just feel like a worse version of City Skylines. It needed a hook, something to set it apart. That's when I came up with the key gameplay mechanic, winter. In my game, when winter arrives, all of the winter sources freeze over. Since electricity is generated through water, players will have to find alternative ways to extract water or adapt their energy strategies to survive the cold season. This adds a survival twist to the traditional city building gameplay. Visually, the game takes inspiration from classic PS1 titles. It has that low-poly, slightly gritty aesthetic that gives it a unique atmosphere. So far, I've created several structures: a watermill, house, road, transformer, pipes, and transmission lines. Each building has a unique ID stored in the structure database. I modeled all of them in Blender, keeping everything consistent with the retro-inspired art style. I created a custom shader for the in-game grid using Unity's shader graph. The goal was to give the grid a more dynamic and readable appearance while keeping it flexible for different gameplay scenarios. In the shader's properties, I added the following parameters for fine control. Thickness controls how thick each dashed line appears on the grid. Default scale sets the default visual scale of the grid. Size determines the physical dimensions of each grid cell. Tiling adjusts how frequently dash stripes repeat along the grid lines. Dash density modifies how tightly the dashes are packed together. Dash threshold controls dash visibility based on a cutoff, allowing for dotted or fading effects. Speed animates the grid with scrolling dashes to give a sense of liveliness or take-like motion. Color lets me easily change the grid color for different modes or visual themes. This setup gives me a lot of flexibility for customizing the look and behavior of the grid in both gameplay and editor views. I also made significant progress on the user interface. The structure selection system features categorized tabs and functional buttons to make gameplay smoother and more intuitive. Each buildable structure has its own button. These are grouped by type into 3 main tabs. Tab 1, Roads and Residential Buildings. Tab 2, Plumbing Structures. Tab 3, Electricity producing structures like power plants and generators. Repair button added a dedicated button to repair damaged structures, which will play a big role in later gameplay. Remove structure button. A straightforward removal tool for clearing space or undoing building decisions. This UI layout is designed to scale with the game as more buildings and mechanics are introduced, and it's already feeling much more user-friendly during testing. Every structure in the game has a monetary and electricity cost associated with it. This means players will need to balance their finances and power infrastructure when expanding their cities. As the game evolves, these costs will play an increasingly important role in the player's long-term strategy and city efficiency. I implemented a grid data script to handle the underlying logic and data management for structure placement across the game world. This system tracks the state of each individual cell in the grid and stores information about what structure, if any, is currently occupying it. Each grid cell now holds metadata such as the type of structure placed, whether the cell is land or water, associated costs and requirements. That's it for this devlog. I hope you enjoyed this early look at Need More Water. There's still a lot to build and improve, but I'm really excited about how it's coming together. If you liked the video, feel free to leave a like or comment. Your feedback means a lot, especially as I start this devlog journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.